I famously said 50-50 or bust, right? And I meant that financially, spiritually, emotionally.
I
And
remember
there's
that.
just a lot of days that I have 10% and I need him to be 90. There's days I don't have shit and I need him to be 100. It's a trauma response. And 50-50 is I'm not going to be vulnerable enough to trust you with 100% of anything,
She
not my
admitted
heart,
it.
not my cash. And when I started to really address that, and I was like, do you want to pay whole mortgage? I thought I was about to die. I had such anxiety. Like I was
Okay.
crying, I was shaking. And he was like, you insisted on that. He's like, I thought it made you feel better. I'm like, it did. And right now I want to take it back. Now it sounds crazy to be like, you, Mr. NBA superstar who made a bazillion more amount of
Exactly.
money than I do, can pay the mortgage, because I hate the feeling of releasing that to someone. And you release that to someone, chaos can happen. And it's brought us closer because he knows it's not about whether he can afford it. It's being vulnerable enough to be open enough to know that I'm okay. I'm okay as his wife. He's okay as my husband.
There
I'm
you
okay in
go.
this family. I'm okay in this home. I deserve it. And so I'm trying to expand my heart, expand all of the notions of what vulnerability can look like.
Isn't that
As you heal,
better?
as you evolve, as you lean more into vulnerability, you can also change how you feel about something, and it's okay. Sometimes when we build those walls up for safety or to keep what we think is harm out, we can also keep love out.
Exactly.
Too.
All right, guys. So the reason why I'm covering this is because I do remember the old video that she did. She did like a interview thing. In the interview, she basically confirmed that her and her husband were doing 50-50, and the internet went crazy. The reason being is that the husband, I think it's Dwayne, can't remember his second name, but he's an NBA player or ex-NBA player. And he was worth like over 200 million or something crazy like that. And she was only worth like 30 million or like between 30 and 50, something like that. She was only worth like a quarter of his income. And the internet went mad because they were like, wait, why are you doing 50-50 when the guy can pay for everything? And she admitted that she just admitted it again, but she said she wanted this. This is what she decided the relationship to be. And it's really funny for her to have come full circle to admit that this was a trauma response. This was her shielding her heart. This was her defending herself. This was her trying to stop something from happening. And the husband went along with it like, well, okay, if that's what makes you happy, then sure. First thing I want to say is that, look, from her point of view, there is no problem with her changing her mind. It's good to change your mind. A lot of times we think a certain way when we're younger, and then when we grow older, sometimes a lot of young people realize why their parents speak a certain way to them. They're like, oh, so this is why my parents said what they said. There's nothing wrong with you changing your mind. This shows growth. This is how people change. This is what happens. And this is an amazing thing in and of itself. The problem here is people like her being on a platform, having influence, coming up with these type of things and people following them. Even though they changed their mind and we applaud her for that, there are people who have taken this thing and ran with it and probably ruined marriages in the process. She's still in her marriage and the husband has been patient enough with all her quirks, right? She's exposed herself saying that she's dealing with trauma, which can cause her to make these type of decisions, which some men don't put up with. But a lot of marriages would have been ruined based on what she said. I'm speaking hypothetically, I don't know that for sure. And young people would have gotten married, and due to the current dating game, the current dating world, maybe people like her talking about 50-50, oh, don't let no man do this, don't let no man do that, would have ran with this and probably ruined their lives. See how dangerous it is when we have influence and the type of things that we can do. So young Christian, what can you learn from this? You need to be mindful who you listen to. The current dating world has so many rules. Like, the rules are crazy. Even I can't keep up with a lot of them. And you want to get married, you want to go into marriage, you want to do marriage, and you want it to last forever. And yes, there's been a lot of craziness going on out there around divorce, splitting up and all that stuff. What you cannot do is change the foundation. The foundation of marriage is God. He instituted it. He created it. He made it from the very get-go. If you decide to start adding all these new ways of thinking to your marriage, you are sure to end up like them. You are sure to end up in ruin. The basis of your marriage or any of your relationship should be the biblical way of doing things. Why are you married and you're talking about having separate money? That doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me, because even in my days of growing up, I've seen marriages where the man does so well, the woman doesn't have to do anything. Then time happens, time and chance happens. He loses his job and the woman starts to support the family, and they continue as normal. And then the man comes up again and he gets a job again, and then he starts. They don't talk about, this is my money. They don't talk about this. They don't do that. It's literally the family. That's what they talk about. They say the family. And at the point where you decide from a young age, because you're working and you've already planned, like she has, that when you get married, you're going to protect yourself from this man, you're going to protect yourself from this woman. Before you even say I do to a man or a woman, you should already know the type of person you're married. Does he love you? Does he love everything about you? Does he want to make you smile, make you happy? You should know all of that before you say I do. And by the time you say I do, you should not be thinking to yourself, oh, we might get divorced. Oh, we might split up. So let me protect myself. Let me hide money. Let me do this. You're heading for disaster. When you see these type of talking points, these new ways of managing relationships, they don't have anything with the foundation of the Bible. Everything you do about your marriage, everything you do about your relationship must have the foundation of the Bible. Foundation of the husband loving his wife and the woman or the lady submitting to the leadership of her husband, and the children submitting to the leadership of the mother and father. Everything is there for us to read and implement. You can be innovative. You can decide, oh, we're gonna go on a date every Friday, or we're gonna always go to this place, or do this and do this to keep the love fresh. You can do all of that, but your foundation must be the love that you have, the foundation of what the Bible says. I did a video before some time ago where an elderly lady, she was elderly, and she came out and said, oh, she regrets everything that they did and pushed around feminism. The internet went crazy. But when you watch her in her previous life, I say previous life, but when she was younger, she went hard. She went hard on feminism, only to turn around in her, I think she looked 70s, in the 70s, to admit to people that it was wrong. But do you know the amount of people who have run with this, probably due to her specifically, who have just gone hard? It's crazy. The people who are married for real, knew what she was saying when she first made that statement 2 years ago. They knew. They were like, oh yeah, so you don't trust your husband? Cool. Oh, so you can't be vulnerable? Yeah. So you don't want him to have full control over your life? Yeah, we get it. That's why you want to keep control. But isn't it easier? Look how much more easier she looks. How much more less stressed she looked when she said, oh, I just don't want to do it. I just want you to do it. Oh, she looks like she's now able to just fall into her husband's arm and let him handle everything. And how much more easier is it on her having that type of privilege, which is a privilege these days, because now everyone's competing. Husband's competing with the wife, and the wife is competing with the husband. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you guys watching my video today. What do you think about Gabrielle Union changing her mind around the 50-50 stuff? Is 50-50 still a thing these days? Is this something that you guys are doing? Is this something that young people are doing? Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you guys watching my video. Before you go, please check out my reaction channel. I'll put it on the screen right now. Go over there, give me a like, comment, and sub. Also check out my reaction channel with the family. We do trailer reactions, reviews, gaming, and all sorts over there. Please hit that subscribe button when you go over there and watch our videos. I'll see you guys on the next one.